The Out There channel, Robert and Paul.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, greys and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Hello. Just getting set up here still. One man band. Okay, be a minute. Hello. Anyone out there? Yeah, looks like it's all working. Let's see if the overlay works. Yep, donations. Title of today's show is Secureteam, Disinfo and Recycled False Info. Well, so I have to keep repeating myself until people start listening. Which is hard to get to. Blue Chicken, how's it going? I played the triangle. Can I play in your brand? Play, what do you mean by that? I'm not sure I understand what the question is there, but yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't been very well lately, so I haven't been researching and doing as much episodes as I'd like to. I play in your band. Yeah, I just made up that music using the computer and various software. Voice software and composed it myself and all that. I create my own music generally. Does away with copyright, right? So yeah, that took me probably a couple of hours to make the new intro. But I need to, not sure if Robert's still going to be joining me. He was upset about my Nazi documentaries, saying it's false information, and I didn't see it that way. So whether he wants to keep on going with me, it's up to him. Me, I'm too busy doing my own stuff, my own topics, and I can't deal with drama. Don't want no more drama. What I'm going to do is always be focused on the end game, as that's to get to the truth. And if there are old sightings of UFOs that were seen in Nazi Germany, with them experimenting with jet propulsion, vertical liftoff in the shape of UFOs, then if there's any paperwork or truth to it, then it's up to us to try and dig into that and prove it. But sometimes it can be hard to find information. A lot of it comes down to whether you believe the leaker or not. But if you can do FOIA requests on those people and find that they're actually mentioned by FBI and stuff, it sort of gives them a bit more credibility. So yeah, I try to aim for balance, I don't believe all UFOs are alien. I believe some of them might be us, some of it might be reversed engineered. And as I mentioned in the Nazi one, a lot of it's covered up still because they've been using nuclear power, which is about the only way they could get enough voltage in these craft to be able to do what they do. Especially if they wanted to power big jet engines by electricity only rather than jet fuel. Would require a lot of electricity, wouldn't it? And fast spinning things to keep it quiet. But I don't believe the Nazis had any of that. I believe they were still using this jet fuel, and they had very limited ranges. And yeah, I've sort of covered that quite well in the recent live shows anyway. So the thing is, I still believe that New Zealand case sounded very much like a practice run from South America, Argentina, with one of their vertical liftoff craft, and they're trying to get to space, and maybe it didn't go too well. Like I said, jet engines can only get up to a certain altitude, and then you got to use rockets. You got to use some other propulsion. Yeah, so I've been quite sick lately. Not sure what's going on. The doctor's not sure what's going on. Still waiting to hear back from him on the latest results. But my legs and feet are twice the size. And they're really swollen up, and I've been feeling sick with the medicine I'm on, side effects. And when you feel sick, you don't like to eat. All you want to do is lay down and try and get it out your mind, don't you, and sleep. But also been extreme fatigue as well. So I'm not sure what's going on, whether it's a combination of things. One health problem linked to another health problem. Could be something to do with the virus, who knows, or the vaccination as well. So, too many unknowns at this stage. But a big lump has shown up on my back. Despite me having lots of blood tests for cancer, it always come back negative. So it must be a benign tumour, like a cyst. That might be part of what's going on. It may be pressing against the spinal nerve and causing the feet to swell. It also might be causing the fatigue, so maybe that's a clue there, I don't know. But that's just, my back's really sore at the moment with this lump. Not just with the back pain I was usually getting. So maybe my days are limited here anyway, guys. So just take it as it comes. But I quite enjoy doing what I do here, and even yesterday was being attacked over my Travis Walton live show, saying it's false information, which it wasn't. It was based on research and various interviews and tape recordings I could find. And the map. Remember the map? I drew the map based on my memory because the map disappeared before I had a chance to go back and snap it. Some old investigators' website, someone put it up there, someone obviously got it taken down to try and cover up it. But yeah, I believe Trevor's story is bogus because aliens shooting laser beams at them doesn't make any sense whatsoever. None of the abduction cases in the past and present have had laser beams shooting at people. And they always pin them to the ground, if anything, rather than lift them up. Wasn't that what was that place recently? What's his name? Tom Reed or whatever his name was? No, not Tom Reed. Where he's in the car of his mother, saying that the the light to come over him, and he couldn't move, which is basically what we hear all the time, is somehow they're able to make you cease struggling. So yeah, I don't believe anything about firing a laser beam, knocking him back in the air. That's just nonsense. I never believed that story at that point. I don't think aliens are really that evil. If you're going to abduct people, you don't want to damage them on the way through, do you? And the cattle mutilations may be related to some of what they do, but who knows? That's still ongoing debate as well, isn't it? But it's all good. It's always good to debate these things. But I was always a wee bit suspect of Travis's story, and I never liked the movie. The fact is that he returned and he still had 5 days of beard left, and his blood sugars were normal, saying that he was eaten in those 5 days, which wouldn't happen if you were inside, like in the movie. Apparently, if he was inside a UFO not eaten and sort of trapped in a pod or something, it doesn't make sense. He should have been starvation. There's lots of things about his case that doesn't add up, but people just seem to accept him as a nice guy and believe everything he's got. So yeah, I just had this guy trying to say he wants to sue me and all that sort of stuff. Good luck to that. It's going to cost you millions of dollars. I live in New Zealand, not America. It's Tom DeLonge. Tom DeLonge is like a front man, isn't he? They wanted to choose a younger person that fit in with that generation, I think, because a lot of the figureheads are generally older people, right? So I think they just picked him to try and, I don't know, leak out some disinformation maybe. It's really hard to know. We're always a bit suspect about all these government people joining up on his group, right? That's the problem, as I keep saying in the live shows. We don't know who's disinformation agents and who are paid disinformation agents and who are government-backed agents, like, but not paid, like. And I think people that put out disinformation all the time are Third Phase and Tyler, which I will go over today again and point out why that is. Now, if you're damaging ufology, right, and putting doubts in people's minds that it might be black ops craft rather than as aliens, right, then they're going to support that YouTube channel, right? They're going to tell Google to keep that channel going as long as possible because they like their disinformation, and the government likes channels like that. Anyone that's telling the truth gets shut down, you might notice nowadays. And that's what's happened to my channel. My channel, they always keep taking away subs all the time. As soon as I get new subs, they take away 5. So there's something going on there. As you can see, I slowly growing up in subs. I mean, and it's gone really, really slow. I'm not sure. I think maybe we've met saturation point of people that actually want the truth in ufology, or to do research in it, or to follow along what other people are researching and see if it fits in with their experience. But yeah, I still haven't figured out why I saw this lady in a white suit in the house, and that was kind of a bit freaky. It disappeared. I thought it was, if you haven't heard the story, it's a few live shows back. Go and dig it up. But maybe it's a sign that I'm dying. Who knows? It could be to do with all the health problems at the moment. So time will tell. If I die, you say, haha, that was the angel coming to get you. I'm in my 50s, so I'm up near 1 foot in the grave anyway. So let's have a look at Tyler's page. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just go over his ones and then we'll go over anything else. I'll keep on going as long as I can until I feel too sick. So he put out his best 5 examples here. I don't think it was too bad, that episode. Although the first one, I wasn't sure had been bunked or not. I'm pretty sure there was some mention that there was some oil rigs burned off flames. That's the problem with parallax, and because there was meant to be radar hits. So could it be a combination of 2 things that happened that day, where it was actually burn off as well as a real UFO amongst it? Who knows? Often that's what happens though. People obviously think it's one event when it's actually 2 events. Phoenix Lights is a good example. It was 2 events that happened, and everybody seems to lump it together, saying, oh well, it was the flares drop, and that sort of discounts all the other stuff. But not to us in the ufology field that know a bit more what actually happened. But here he is, he's plugging the moon stuff again, so let's go over it. Actually, if you spell Spartan backwards, it spells entraps. Remember Linda Moulton Howe and her documentary about the Antarctica base? Well, Spartan, if you spell it backwards, spells the word entraps. Believe it or not. And I believe that's where the names come from. They probably said, oh, you can call us Spartan. Entraps, what was it? NSA entraps, I think it spells. Anyway, I covered that also in a documentary. I said, look here, no one else has spotted this, but yeah, I see it straight away. And that could be a hint that they're both fakes, right? So let's just carry on. So many disinformation agents out there. Paid and non-paid, I call them.
Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. So today I want to go back to my roots, to the very thing that first got me into
this is recycled
subject,
garbage.
that being the many anomalies on our moon. The moon has always been a fascination to me, from the structures on it to the many...
Yeah, so this one here has been debunked God knows how many times now, because they've got high-res photographs of the location, which he never puts up. But it turns out to be so low-res this, it's just amazing how different it looks to the new scan. I can't remember what crater name it is, but it keeps putting it up like it's meant to be like a satellite dish, or maybe a cannon, I don't know.
Astronauts, ever since the fascination to me.
Let's see, I don't know if you can zoom in on it. But it's just a play with light again. There's actually a boulder right on the edge of the crater rim. And it casts a shadow. So it kind of looks funny, doesn't it, to us? We tried to map it as an image. Now, the one that likes to debunk these moon ones often is obviously Scott Brando. He's big on that. UFO of interest. And if you want to ask him questions, he generally will, if he likes you. So yeah, he's put up a few things since we've last looked there too, but we'll have a look at the end maybe. Okay, so you just have to type in Secureteam probably. In fact, he's probably already debunked that one. Why can't I type? That's a good question. Secureteam Moon. Let's see if I can. I'm getting a new keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard, which will help solve this problem, hopefully. UFO. And they're expensive though. So straight away I think it's the same one, is it? No. But you can see he's big on these moon ones, so he debunks all the crap that Tyler puts up. So this is going back to 2017, right? So Tyler's recycling stuff. So is that Krita, is that the same one? I don't think it is. Alright, it's got a triangle, but and here's the high res. Just a lot of rocks. So what's he trying to say on that one? Forms like a TR3B in the middle. Probably those bright blobs. But anyway, it didn't come up with all the other ones, so let's try Lunar. Problem is getting the right keywords to get the right images up as it brings up everything on Secureteam. Nothing on Lunar. Canon, could try Canon. Nope. Dish. I think what's happened also is Twitter gets rid of old posts, and it makes it really hard to find stuff, as you can see. Creator, we know that had one image, so yeah, that's no good. So let's just type Secureteam in then, and it's going to be hundreds. Exposing all his lies. Yeah, he used to do this too, right? He used to get stock images and add in CGI, add in Photoshops. It's probably before a lot of people's times. They're still online. And all those ones. Okay, so where is all the moon ones disappear to? Twitter, maybe covering them up. All these big... So they're all part of the same government controls, right? Disinformation controls. This is ridiculous. Normally it would come up straight away. And I didn't see any moon stuff anymore. Okay, so what's Twitter done to the searches now? It's a good question. But that's no good. No good at all. This is why I like to keep an eye on things. So this is one of his biggest fakes here, the pencil sharpener over Texas. So-called military base, wasn't it? Daytona. Another Photoshop he did. Got him big in the newspapers. A lot of people subbed to him. But yeah, all the moon stuff's disappeared. What else can we do? Let's just try without his name. Moon crater. Just try that. Oh, here we go. That works straight away. There's the first one. How to prove alien dish. Great. So how come it looks like it doesn't like 10 on the end? So maybe I had to type Secureteam star, maybe. Wildcard search. But yeah, there should be a lot more. Okay, so what's he saying here? Alright, it was called a dish antenna. Both of them just stretch to compensate for foreshortening and rotate the dish image until best match. So that's a new high res. He's put the link there. Doesn't look like any Canon there, does it? So I suppose you could rotate it, is what he's saying, to get the same angle. And then blur it to the same quality. And he's got Secureteam logo there. So where did he put that one up? 2017. There you go. So what crater is the name? Crater prints. Crater. What's the name of the crater? Simple Mathematics defeats Mike Barra. Apollo frame AS10. So that's Apollo 10, isn't it? 30, 44, 26. I'm pretty sure they got a newer high res of that as well. So why haven't other images come up? Maybe because I need to log in. It's not going to show me, is it? Okay, let's have a look at that one. Tower on the moon is solved. Lunar expert claims Spire is actually a small crater at the rim of a larger one, which is basically what I said. Okay, so where's the high res? Oh, here we go, high res. So there's a smaller crater here, and it looks like it's got some debris that's poured down the side. So that would happen if another smaller meteorite impacted, right? And yeah, just blur it and bingo, and you get the right lighten, or where the moon is. Obviously here it's wrong. You have to wait till it's on the other side, and then rotate it, of course. So that's what it looks like, actually. This one here. And that's probably got a link to the photograph. The sun is so low on the horizon that the dimple in the crater wall creates a shadow. Okay, they're saying it's shadow, not debris. Okay. And what else we got? Is that the same image though? Or was that another one that looks very similar? Let's see. Could be another one that's similar, isn't it? Not sure if it's the same one. But you can see how easy it is to be fooled by stuff, you know. And one day we'll be up there again, and you probably have like moon tourists, right, from SpaceX and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, let's see. I am really wondering, is Secureteam truly lying, or is it just very naive? He's actually lying. If you go and watch my live stream on the true life of Secureteam, you'll see that he only went into ufology to make money. He thought he could make money by making mockos, like those leaker videos he did. But yeah, it doesn't take much research like this just to debunk. I think it's near the big crater here. I think it's the same one. Different angle, different blurriness. I think it's the same thing. Looks like the same crater, right? There's the crater here, but it's on a different angle, right? Just shows the quality, even the quality even makes it misleading. Now that's got to be the worst quality. Yeah, so if you go to my channel, home, and scroll down, the real truth of Secureteam. Now, these are all the shows I've done debunking all his claims. Although, if you scroll along here, it doesn't quite work. They only show you your first 18, is it? Or 12 or something ridiculous. So you have to actually click on the title. Whoop. You have to click on the title and then it will show all of them. This is a bug in YouTube that's never been fixed. Now you get a list like that instead, which is easier to look through. And you can just go through all of it. Smoking gun evidence, Secureteam fakes NASA whistleblower voice. Alien Grey on film debunked properly. All the red flags. So I guess he was mentioned, that one. This one here with the UFO in South America. More vids to go over. Secureteam exposed. So Secureteam exposed, update and privacy. Secureteam confesses to fraud. June. Secureteam audio fakes scroll to 40 minutes. Versus deep fakes. So people are saying, oh yeah, it's this deep fake that someone made, and it's not true. Corrupt lying YouTubers. There you go. Secureteam fakes news on satellite image. Okay, so you just can go and watch all those and you'll be up to speed. The true life and times of Secureteam from 2021 to 2000. So there I explain his whole life, the real life story, not what was on Fade to Black. Just basically, he was addicted on opiates, drugs, in his teens. He got on a rehab program, probably because of his parents. He also was a booze head. Most teens are, aren't they? Until you learn your lesson. Too many hangovers, you'd say, no, not doing that anymore. Had enough. Or you go diabetic and say, well, that's it. If I keep doing that, I'm going to be dead. So you stop doing it if you become diabetic. So he created his own health problem that he's got at the moment from abuse. And he wants everyone to feel sorry for him. He's made millions of dollars of Google ads. That's been verified by Nocturnal News, his cousin, which I've got a screen snapshot of. And here's a video where he gets busted, and I enhance the audio. Why does everybody pick on Secureteam? So I got all these up here, but if you try and search for them on Google, you won't find them. That's how they suppress it, because if he's getting millions of dollars from ads, then they're making millions of dollars from ads as well. And that's where the bias in the system breaks down. And if he's got fans or members, family members that work inside Google, I'm pretty sure they could influence his channel. So yeah. Where did Tyler Glockner go? As you saw from my thumbnail, he actually was in prison for bashing his wife. It's been proven. You can look it up in court records. And also a 911 call that his son did that got the police there in the first place. Anyway. But he loves his son. He loves his son. Secureteam logo, debate, Secureteam update, you know, all this goes on and on. Secureteam owes me $1 million because he made a claim that there's no CGI on his channel. And that's this interview he did with Fade to Black. And Fade to Black tried to take it down, even though I used it under fair use. Okay, so Secureteam's new leaker web radio. So that one there I did as a wee bit of a joke, but the clips are valid. And if you've not heard it, I'll just play a couple here before we get on with the rest of the debunking of the new stuff.
Yes, my name is Ken, and I work as an astronomer and a scientist for a government agency. That is all that I can say at this time. This footage here was personally taken by myself and another colleague at the WM Keck
Okay, so that's
Observatory,
Tyler,
which is located near the summit of Hawaii's Mauna
pretending to be
Kea.
someone. And here it is, making another one.
My name is Dr. Eric Norton, and I have worked as an outside consultant for the NSA and NASA for going on 12 years now. My security clearance at present warrants my need to take the appropriate steps to keep myself protected the best I can. One of those steps is not to
He thought he would get away with it
information about
until he come across me.
What I can tell you is that I have worked as an outside consultant on many projects led by our government, the U.S. government, including with, more recently, the meteoroid.
It's quite easy to
Environment
modulate
Office,
your
or
voice
NEO,
like that, you know, to
which is
disguise it.
involved in several research projects with installations located throughout North America. The underlying goal of these projects is to gain a better understanding of the meteoroid environment.
He was a
NEO
good script writer, I'll give him
environment
that.
models can be improved. We basically monitor the
He'd be
skies,
better than Bob
track
Lazar.
meteors and other objects in space, and to date have made some very interesting observations, to say the least. Some very chilling observations, in fact. Observations that, if revealed to the public, would not only change the game forever, and we're not just talking the breakdown
Must
of
have
all
taken him
religions
ages
and
to
a
write
total
all that
overhaul
shit.
of everything we've ever known about the universe and space, but
What
we're
a
talking the
scumbag.
breakdown of society itself.
And what did Fade Black ask him? Did you fake anything? No, sir, no, I didn't. Here's the next one.
The date is June 29th, 2008, 6:32 p.m.
You can even hear it's him.
I'm creating
Bad
this
disguising.
message to let the people of the world, or whoever happens to hear this, know the truth about what is going on with regards to the alien presence in our world, as well as interstellar space and within our own
He's
solar
never
system.
come clean on all these ones. Only Mr.
I
Ken.
myself
He said he did Mr. Ken because the audio he got from the guy was bad, so he mimicked his voice.
Located near Groom Lake.
Bullshit.
I have done my work there for the past 8 years.
What you do is you play the original and you put subtitles up, right? Or you say, oh, this is what it said if you didn't understand still, and just talk with your normal voice.
I assure you, everything that I am about to say is truth, is fact.
So you must have spent ages writing all this shit.
And whether you know it or believe it or not, everything that I will tell you is common knowledge within the Black Ops community at the most highest and secretive levels.
Oh yeah, this is it decoded, guys. Those 3 clips that I found.
My name is Dr. Eric Norton, and I have worked as an outside consultant for the
best I
NSA
could do
and
anyway.
NASA for going on 12 years now. My security clearance at present warrants my need to take the appropriate steps.
It's a wee bit of
to keep myself protected.
roboticness on that one still.
The date is June 29th, 2008,
100% him.
6:32 p.m. I'm creating this message to let the people of the world, or whoever happens to hear this, know the truth about what is going on with regards to the alien presence in our world, as well as interstellar space and within our own solar system. I myself am a worker in one of the underground bases located near Groom Lake.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
I've done my work there for the past 8 years, and within the next coming months.
And he got away with it, and he's still getting away with it. And this is old.
Now, what I'm going to tell you, you may want
2018
to
I
take
did this one.
but I assure you,
I tried different
everything
methods
that
to
I am
get
about
it out there.
say is truth, is fact.
But I've been exposing
And
them
whether
since
you know it or
2016.
believe it or not, everything that I will tell you is common knowledge within the Black Ops community.
Okay, so that was his very first video on his channel. Believe it or not. Which he must have spent. It goes on for ages. He wrote a big, huge script for it. And he thought he was being clever using some voice disguising software, but it's no deepfake software. It's just simply pitch change, slowing it down, and adding some modulation and roboticness and phone noise, of course, to make it sound like it's being phoned in. But yeah, clever people like me can undo stuff like that. And you can see it's only had 378 views and only 19 likes. Now, were those 300 odd still gullible Secureteam fans that just can't accept it? So I just don't understand. I want to get hold of a Secureteam fan, pop out the brain and try and understand it, because I just don't understand. Generation M, is it? What they're thinking, the 20-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, that are mostly the ones that are paying him like 10,000 in Patreon every month for doing one video a week. You know, you see what I do. You know, I do a lot of research. I connect a lot of the dots. I bring you some of the best cases. I even bring you some video footage that I'm not allowed to. It's not allowed to be released publicly, but I could release some stuff of these footages, which I believe is way better than any Navy footage, but because it wasn't done by a Navy person, no one pays any attention to it. And they think it's faked, of course, but we know the truth, and we know these people. So why would the government not tell Google to try and keep this guy around? Because he's all these youngers seem to believe him, right? He's a good disinformation agent. And of course, when I heard this, I was really mad. When I got hold of this, and people saying, "Well, you faked that, you made it up." But then I made an episode to prove that's not the case, right? So I actually went to YouTube, and if you've watched live 2118, I can prove that I could do it real time using the video player on Google without having to download it and put it into special software by using some plugins that come available. Where's 2118? It's probably got pushed down the list now. 2114. Where's 18? Yeah, where is it? 18. 18's the one you want to watch. They probably got it deleted, probably, and Google didn't let me know. This does happen. Things vanish. Vanish in the dark, right? In the quiet. 2118, no. And can't see it there. Normally, oh, here it is. Secureteam audio fakes. Scroll to 40-minute Merc. Okay, so here I did it in real time around the download stuff. I managed to find people, the people out there used to download all his episodes, and as soon as he deleted them off his channel, they would upload it on theirs. So this is what I did, and this is the end result. I found. Welcome to the Out There channel. Found live stream 200. Well, we'll just go to 40-minute Merc, like I said. Claiming they could do it in 3.6. There's the 40-minute Merc. I ran about there. So I found all these on. Originally called Giant Body Entrant. I found all these originals up before my channel was made, which proves the point. I'm not behind trying to be a disinformation agent on him. I'm trying to get rid of the noise, and as you can see, I've not had any luck. I should have like hundreds of thousands of followers by now, but you can see I've been suppressed by Google because he's got 2 million followers, and he was making $1,000 a day off ad money. So how much were they making? You see what I mean? How can you be subjective and non-biased if you are the ones that decide who gets censored and delete videos or demonetized? Remember the hoo-ha he did when he said he was demonetized? Turned out to be a glitch instead in their system because they're mucking around with it. He wasn't demonetized at all, ever. And he got all those patrons instead, and that was another income he had. So he was making about $80,000 a month back then, when he was complaining that he was demonetized. Suckers. I wonder where he did all the money. I think he must have bought some properties. So, yeah. And of course he needs that money coming in still to pay mortgages on, probably on the new property. But anyway, yeah, if you want to go and watch it and watch that one, that's the one to watch. That proves that I'm not behind it, and I found all these videos online of the originals. And if you still like them, then I don't understand why. And can I study your brain? I want to do psychological tests on your brain if you still like him. If you think he's the #1 source for UFO information. His stuff is recycled at the moment, and it's really old as well. Third phase of the moon is probably the ones that put up anything, and so they get everything up there before anyone else. But really, they're not the first either. They normally crawl around YouTube channels and ask permission to use their YouTube video, and then they rebadge it and then give them some credit, right, in the description or whatever. We got permission to show this, blah 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 blah. It's all about making money, guys. These big channels are all frauds. If Tyler's made $3 million of ads, how much do you think they made? They've been around a lot longer. And in the early days, Google paid a lot more money. And the sources, and this guy's renamed it. So, yeah, I just had a girl post a message to me only 2 weeks ago saying, "How dare you attack Tyler like this. We should all be working together in a happy group. I said to her, "Are you serious? Why would we want to be working with frauds that make fake UFO videos?" That's counteractive to what our main goal was, just to get disclosure on truth. But yeah, those leaker ones were the mockery ones he did. He wanted to mock that first one. Was obviously meant to be a piss take of Bob Lazar. And he wrote a really, like a 2-page script there. It just goes on for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes or something, the original video. It's quite amazing. And then if you look at the life and story of Tyler, he wanted to be a model. He wanted to be an actor. He wants to work in film industry. Who's that sound like? Third Phase of the Moon. And it sounds also like Goofon, who also did courses in cameras and film, and he likes to act a clown on his own channel, right? Mimicking people's voices, right? They all like to be actors and entertaining, and that's why people throw money at them, because they're entertaining. Well, me, I'm just the VFX man, and I'm not so entertaining. And so I don't get donations and money thrown at me, and despite I could do a lot more with that money in ufology to bring you even more, maybe even film some UFOs in New Zealand, who knows. But that's what I'm doing my Skywatch series, try to show people how to document what's in the skies above you at the time you're filming, so you can exclude planes. But anyway, 40 minutes in. So around about here, was it? Modulation. About here somewhere. 45 minutes probably.
The objects had reappeared and had positioned themselves behind the
Okay.
The blackout of...
So, all he could have done for that was, I got this in an email, I'm going to read it out, right? So he didn't have to disguise his voice. He's got no disclaimers on the original video as well. It's a shame that he's deleted it. And that's another thing, is if you got some smoking gun evidence. Yeah, so I originally had these ones posted, and he got them taken down. And so I found some more links to other copies. And as far as I know, they're still up. He's trying to cover his ass all the time. And then he's telling people these are April Fool's things, and then I show him this thing here that are not April Fool's, but actually uploaded on December and other dates. There we go. But I was using a little add-on here. It changes the pitch. As far as I'm concerned, he knew all about it. Maybe. You can see I played it before. It's not. So I'm just trying to show you real time how to find it. There's some on Daily Motion even. But I think the pitch thing didn't work with Daily Motion. It only worked with YouTube.
Yes. Is it YouTube? No, Daily Motion.
Yeah, there's a lot on Daily Motion that's been uploaded. But I eventually find it. And
So we've got deepfakes here.
But then I go into deepfakes, what the difference is, so you can hear the difference.
Why no one else was talking about it.
So where am I doing the pitch thing? Keep missing it.
Some subs then.
Alright, here's the dates thing. Published November 2014, way before my channel started, right?
99271. That's
ET program.
Oh, here we go.
Or as it's known in the Black Ops community as G28. What we do here is research,
So I
analyze,
decoded
and
it.
investigate
Real
the
time.
extraterrestrial presence within our solar system and other dimensions. And
So yeah, anyone out there that's a Tyler fan,
what
get
I'm
him to
going
explain
tell you
that.
today is the truth about what is going on. I will try not to be
And if you say that's not him, you're crazy. You got obviously a problem with your earring.
as I have already.
Anyway, that's one of the better ones that proves no one fabricated it, and these are copies of his original ones uploaded elsewhere. So that's probably the best one to show people. Anyway, I'm pretty sure if some of the bigger channels out there, YouTube channels out there on UFOs, decide to use my material and give me some credit for it, then that's fine by me, as long as we can expose these liars that's in the UFO field. But anyway, I didn't want to recap this because I have to recap this every 6 months because people don't watch my stuff, right? If you watch my stuff, you'd think, what, he's got a thing for Secureteam. Well, I'm just going to keep pointing out frauds until they come clean, and he still hasn't. I think he did an interview with Alien Addict, right? And that's just like BS, right? And also did Fade to Black. That was just like propaganda. And you know, Fade to Black, he knows he's a liar because I sent him all the videos, right? And he tried to get it taken down too. So he's protecting Tyler as well. But I think what happened is Tyler probably offered him $10,000 to do an interview with him, right? That's my gut feeling there. I can't prove it. But if you offered $10,000, would you do an interview for an hour? Sure you would. And then just make certain terms that if you see anyone in the side chats, get rid of them that are exposing me. So yeah, unfortunately I can't prove that he had that listed because I started in 2016 and he had actually just deleted that content that I found just before I arrived. I was getting emails from people that were watching him, and I thought, this guy is, wow, if he's getting all this from leakers, then where's all the updates? You know, he was talking about buildings on a comet that flew past Earth, and there was going to be another update with closer pictures and more images, and that never happened. So I got more and more suspicious. You know, this guy was sending me emails, watch this, watch this. Then I thought, look, I'm going to have to subscribe to this and watch more of this guy's videos. And the more and more he come out with, the more and more I got suspicious. Like the pencil sharpener over Texas and the cube UFO with the so-called witness that sounded very much like his wife. And so on, right? And he got away with it. And he's still getting away with it. And he's still probably making $20,000 a month. Although he destroyed his channel a bit at the end of 2020. But anyway, just go to my channel and watch the stuff, guys. And don't come abusing me saying everybody has addiction problems, everybody has booze problems. Yeah, but not everybody fakes UFO videos as well. And especially when they're meant to be sober back in 2008 or whatever it was, 2011 I mean, 2014, where he's not meant to have been having any of those problems. But the truth be known, right? He wanted to be an actor, he wanted to be a movie maker, and the best way to do that was to get a YouTube channel up and going and make a UFO mockery channel. He started off calling it entertainment, and then he realised that people were taking it seriously. That he was getting more people more interested in believing what he was putting up, and then he rebadged it all. And when people got, then the experts come in, like myself, started looking into him, started posting around the webs and forums and blogs saying this guy's a fraud. We did a back check on this Eric Norton guy, he doesn't exist, or Mr. Ken. There is a guy called Ken on the island, but it's not him. Blah blah blah. You know, he started deleting the stuff once he got put too much in the spotlight. But yeah. So moving back onto his latest video. So we debunked that one now. Let's keep on going.
From the structures on it to the many landings by our astronauts, ever since the first Apollo moon landings began, and in the footage and photographs from each mission since, we've seen strange anomalies and evidence hinting that we are not alone on this planet, nor were the astronauts alone on their way from this tiny blue marble and all the way up to their arrival to our mysterious lunar neighbor. Ominous unknown objects captured on the 16mm DAC film footage as astronauts pointed their cameras out of the porthole window.
Alright, so these ones are the little white dots. Clearly ice particles that break off the shell of the spacecraft as it heats up with the sun shining on it, right? You can see it's even moving in the same direction as the spacecraft in orbit here. But there's no way to prove that on a 2D camera, right? You can't say, well, here's the stereo image of it. And look, it's only a few pixels big and it's going past the spacecraft. You can see it's only 5 meters away, whatever. So these people can get away with it, saying that it's actually a UFO flying past
the orbiter, where objects have been recorded flying down towards the moon craters miles below, or to the glowing white object.
So how can you tell if it's ice? It tends to flicker, right? It tends to spin as the solar winds hit it and whatever, and it heats up. And it gets smaller and smaller and then disappears, right? It evaporates back into gas again and then it turns into a solid again because space is so cold. So yeah, this will be another one where there's another ice particle.
Objects seen eerily passing under.
There you go. Okay, so they're filming it through a window as well, don't forget. So we got to count for reflections as well.
They got closer to.
But can we see it spinning? Let's see. Let's see if I can get this frame by frame going.
The surface.
Can we see it sort of flipping around? It sort of looks like it's spinning there. Then it gets brighter again. As you know, ice forms like a little thin sheet, doesn't it? So as it spins, it sort of reflects the sun like a mirror. I don't know if we can get really close to it, but you can see it's not really defined at all. Looks like it could be like a little snowflake, really, doesn't it? And it's rotating again.
Your team, the strange and mysterious structures or built.
I need to remember all the clicks on the mouse. My mouse doesn't magnify as well as pausing and framing. So got to make it in the right setting. Okay, we're back to the low-res triangle nonsense, right?
Buildings on the moon's surface, things that look like possible ruins or that were constructed by something.
Okay, we talked about this last time, the Soid 3. It turned out to be the lunar reconnaissance mission. They sent up to get photographs of the moon, just work out where the best landing sites were. And you can see how bad and blocky this is because it's been zoomed in. And it's probably a copy of an image of a copy of an image. But these little blobs turned out to be leakage in the chemical process. And they didn't send up like smartphones into space back then. No, they had like a regular camera or a negative. And it used to process a negative in space, but it didn't quite work in 0G with the fluids, and they sort of splashed everywhere. And you get these little blobs on the negatives, right? And of course, then it got processed from the negative onto paper, I guess, but like an instant camera. Then they scanned it in on a really slow computer and transmitted it back to Earth. So that's how they got a lot of the moon photographs, and that's why some of them are so really bad. Like this one. So we won't go over that again, but yeah, you got to do a background and research on the type of cameras they're using and what flaws they found. That's why they kept sending up new cameras each time they put up a new satellite, because they tried to get even better and better images, which they're still doing today, of course. Yeah, so it's a bit shame that YouTube is full of criminals and fraudsters, but that's the case. I'm afraid. People could say the same about me, but you can do a background check on me and you won't find anything. I'm just too goody two-shoes. I'm like the untouchables. He could offer me $1 million to shut up and delete all my videos, and I wouldn't. But if Lions Ground was offered that money, and other people like him, they'd probably snap at it and run away, right? You know, all the propaganda, whether it was true or not, that Lions Ground was blackmailing Tyler over the logo, saying that he would retract the copyright infringement if he started paying him $500 a month. Again, because he was originally getting $500 a month from Tyler, because he was begging at one stage of his followers that he was going to get chucked out his house, and he needed to get a minimum of €600 a month or something to keep doing the YouTube channel. Anyway, you had people like UFO Proof saying, yeah, he's read all the blackmail emails between those two. So you get all these, I don't know, drama, bullshitting, what the truth is, what's really going on. Are they everybody working together, as everybody claims to be, working with the frauds, trying to make money? Everybody's making money. Well, I'm telling you what, I'm a one-man band here. I work alone, and I don't care for all that sort of shit and blackmailing and taking money from people that may be criminals. I said to Lions Ground, okay, so you found out he paid you all that money and you didn't realise it was him. Did you refund it all? Silence. No, he didn't. He did not refund the $4,000 he got from Tyler. What a hypocrite. And then he comes attacking me, right? He comes after me and he helps Goof on to attack me and all that sort of shit. I get sick of it, mate. I don't give a shit anymore. Now spill your beans, people.
We've seen evidence that while on the lunar surface during their...
Okay, that was apparently a bit of lint. When they scan in these things, they got like helpers that don't really give a shit, really, and they use white gloves and stuff. And you know how hair got inside even the Soho camera. Sometimes you see a little curvy that they call a mothership on the sun photographs that you get from NASA, because you got a hair floating around in front of the sensor. This is the same thing that happens when they're scanning in these glass sheets. The cameras use glass sheets in space, the early ones especially, because they were more resistant to radiation. Okay, and they didn't have digital technology back then that was hardened against radiation either. So a lot of these are low-res garbage, you know, fluff, scratches, and also emotion pill, which ended up with little bright blue blobs on the screen. If they weren't black and white, of course.
Their moonwalks, the astronauts seem to have been watched by strange things hovering above them in the distance.
So we're back to these ones. Remember I was talking about the emotion pill? Well, these are not, apparently. I did some research on this one, because this one kind of looked like something you'd see in a Tesla lab, right? It looks like a spark. And I thought, well, how can that look, a spark look like a UFO? Is it some sort of solar wind or radiation effect in space that happens? So I wanted to know, because I'm a I'm interested in science. I'm interested in the truth and understanding what's really happening around us. So you're saying shouldn't be surprised about his fraud or deception. Yep, that's true. Perhaps you should contact YouTube. I did directly and show them all the fake voices. I did. They know about it. They don't care. That's what I'm telling you. They're the masters of the 3-ring circus. They really hate me, guys. Understand that. They see it as a YouTube channel attacking another YouTube channel, but there's also it's going to affect their money big time. You know, if he's making 20,000, you can bet they're making thousands of them, even now, right? Looks like we've got a big storm. I'm not sure if you can hear that in the background. It might get filtered out. Rain on the roof. Okay, so these ones are so obvious. These are electrostatic sparks that happen inside the camera. As I was telling you, they used glass plates on a lot of these ones, but now they've progressed to using plastic, well, what do you call it? The type of plastic negative film they used in space. And as the film goes around the rollers, it was charging it in space. And every so often, as they took a snap, it would cause a spark to happen. And it ruined their photographs. As you can see, it puts a little spike there. So it's electrostatic spikes, and they create a nice little blue thing. Oops, what's happened there? Now, I debunked this years ago. 2017 again. And a 5-minute video. Let's see how many people have watched it. Blue UFOs. So when I saw him posting this recycled garbage again, it just makes me so angry. Let's see if we can find them. Oh, that rain's getting louder. I haven't eaten anything because of my sickness that I've got at the moment. But my sugar levels might drop suddenly, so because of that, because of being diabetic. It's called a UFO case file. I made them little short videos for the people that didn't have long attention spans. Oh, here we go. NASA's blue UFOs re-investigated. So there you go, December 2017. Here I explain it. It even looks like the same image that he's using. This one was 13 minutes, not the 5-minute one. Obviously it needed a wee bit more explaining.
December 2017. Secureteam.
Now, just note that I only had a $2 microphone back then. I was working on a really, really old laptop. It was very hard going back in those days to what it is now.
10 channel believed he was clever in finding a single blue UFO in a single frame of a 3-minute video from NASA, a newly HD scanned version. He says it casts a shadow when it shows. Then he also goes on and shows other blue UFOs in other videos found in NASA's archives. I have decided to do a full investigation into this case myself and see if I can confirm or deny what he has found. First of all, notice the clickbait title. They were here the whole time. That's so people will click on it when they read it to see what it's about. Rather than saying NASA's blue UFOs, which doesn't sound quite as interesting. On this ring, he's talking about the UFO appears and casts a shadow, which is just a straight line, on the moon's surface. I'm going to investigate this claim. As usual, he didn't list his source for the video analysis, so I asked about, and Scott Brando gave me a link to one HD version that he said was the same. Apparently, though, it's a couple of seconds shorter. It's had a couple of bits cut off the front of it, but it is identical video. There are about 5 or 6 versions of the same copy up there on YouTube that I could have chosen as well. And also I have received a copy of the original TV version, which is non-HD.
You'll be blocked,
and
mate.
I can show you some clips here.
I've tried that. I've had all my stuff blocked. They don't want to know the truth.
That max acceleration? Oh.
It's good watching the old moon footage, though, I must admit.
Man, you're really bouncing.
And here is a clip of the HD rescan. I won't show it all. Just a
Bit of quality, isn't it?
This one
in the old days, they even though they used film, the film was equivalent to 8K, 4K to 8K, even up to 16K pixel ratios, right? Quality. So now they can go back and rescan those if they've got the original film that's still in good quality, and make it digital again.
Before I begin the video analysis part, I will go over the facts that we know about.
You can see here there's something on the lens as well. You see that? It's always on the lens.
The type of camera they use and its specs and its pros and cons.
I don't know if it's one of those markers they use with the crosses. Right, it might be the edge of the film. It might be Planet Earth there. Clipping Planet Earth there. That doesn't get it into frame.
Back in 1972 on Apollo 16 where this footage was captured.
No, look, it's moving up and down, so how can that be? It's got to be on the edge of the lens, whatever it is.
That they didn't have digital cameras like we have today. What they took up was a 16mm film camera. And I'll be going over the details of that in a minute. So it was conventional film like they use in Hollywood. As you can see, me overlaying the SD TV version over top of the HD version of the areas that were cropped by the old version. And believe it or not, the area outside the TV version is where the anomalies were. That doesn't mean they were trying to cover it up. And I will show this by showing you the evidence that they did not try.
Okay, it also makes sense. Why would you want to show where there's corruption in the film when you can just crop it anyway?
Cover up anything in this video. So the original was recorded on film using chemical...
Yeah, so it goes on a few bit here just to prove the case, right? So, but eventually I find information on the camera.
Yeah, namely that it suffered from static. As the film was squeezed and rolled between the rollers, the charge would build up. So they had some anti-static housing in it and straps that weren't perfect. And I guess if you bumped it at the wrong time, it could detach and cause a static discharge to happen. So keep that in mind as we progress through the investigation. The light.
So, all the information there on the screen from various websites. Just had to do the research on it. Why is it not playing?
And boost the blue and red. It looks.
Okay, so now I'm grabbing it to see where this blue UFO is. Just happens to turn out to be a bit of a black crater there that looks like where he was saying it was a shadow. But when you think about it, if you got a bright object, it's not going to shine down perfectly straight down and make the same size object on the ground. It's going to be bigger, right? It's going to disperse the light, and it's going to take the shape of the ground, the shadow of the object above that's making all the light.
The right color on the space capsule, and the dark blue dot appears. So you yell, "Yay, you proved Tyler of Secureteam right. Hang on your horses." I've proven that the dot is there, but having a UFO appear in one frame in a 24 frame second is just crazy to think that could be alien ET technology. So the next question is, could that line actually be a shadow cast by the dot? So I went and looked further in the film segment, and I found these white dots also, and also I found variations of dashes in the footage as well, also in the same place with no blue dot above. So that just totally debunks it being a shadow from the blue orb or dot.
Yeah, look.
Again, this is called deceiving the people by selecting only what you want from a footage and twisting it to represent a UFO, which is meant to be alien technology that is watching what the astronauts are doing on
So the blue orb and the shadow was actually just a square blob. Why a square blob? Maybe because it was down like a crater that got down to pixel level, and it just forms a little rectangle shape instead. So that explains that one. But yeah, I think I get on to further more examples I find.
Artifacts can occur in the processing. Dust can scratch or leave white dots. And dashes.
And also I found out that is it gamma radiation can cause the negative to illuminate white, so you can create white dots from radiation passing through.
Or scratch lines, and I will show some examples of that and some information about it. Also, here are some images from NASA's archive showing these blue sparks from the static discharge, and some are big and some are very small, and hence that one that Secureteam 10 was showing with the contrast changes was a really minor spark, so it was very hard to see. And if you have a look at the lunar lander image here, I was zooming on the spark in this image. It's very hard to see until you zoom in, and that sure debunks it being a UFO. It's a little small piece of light further down near the lunar surface, and it's not going to be a big UFO craft casting a shadow. So that debunks it completely as nonsense again from Secureteam.
So would you have a UFO that's maybe a centimetre big inside a crater on the ground? I don't think so, unless they're really small aliens. Why won't you just go with the simplest answer, that it is electric spark that's caused it, and it's actually over top of the image that they took before it, as it processed and moved around to the next slide, fresh slide to take. So there you go. I think this image alone debunks Secureteam's episode that he put up. I will give a link to this so you can watch it all properly if you want to, but I do proper research here, and because if there are blue UFOs flying around and it's proven that they're big craft and all that, I want to know that has actually been proven. So why can't we see blue UFOs flying around in the atmosphere then, in that case, you know? So why have things changed? So you got to ask these bigger questions all the time. But the simplest answer is often the true, isn't it? Osculum's razor quote, you know, the one with the least assumptions is generally the correct answer. Blue UFOs. How many people watched it, do you think? Do you remember seeing how many watched it? How many people are now wise to blue UFOs? Not 2 million Tyler fans, no. 100! 100 people in the world know about blue UFOs if they watch this episode. The truth. And you can see a lot of people that used to follow me made comment. But there you go. What happened there? But again, I just have to keep repeating myself. It doesn't matter. That was done a long time ago with a bad microphone. It doesn't hurt to recap stuff. But you sound like a broken record after a while. And I'd rather look into new, fresh cases and research and even try and catch some real UFOs on film. Now, why isn't he doing that? He could, instead of recycling the old crap, he could be outside filming every night to see if he can actually capture something and actually do proper analysis on it. You know, use the apps, say, oh yeah, there's no plane there. Can anyone help us solve this? And go from there, right? This is what these type of people want in ufology. We want people to do research and all that. There's also other ones he's put up too, like purple UFOs and red UFOs, and you know, and you can find it all online, and I explain it from camera artifacts to long exposure, to weather anomalies, you know, strange weather patterns and all that sort of stuff. Out of focusness. Interference patterns, you know, light creates interference patterns you learn in science. All that sort of applies to our field. We have to understand all that to better understand our technology and what it's filming and what the flaws are. We'll keep on watching this, but you know, these are just sparks now.
Another presence, if you will, there with them. Take, for instance, the images that you've been seeing here. These are photographs snapped by an astronaut during one of the Apollo 14 moonwalks. And as we sequence through these original NASA photographs, you can still find online. And as the astronaut turns
well, he showed one on the ground.
snaps a photo every 20 seconds or so.
We know there's one there.
Photos,
he's gone past it.
A distinct blue glowing UFO sitting in the dark skies in the distance. In some images it's not there, but in others the object
he hasn't gone to the ground.
And it's not just a blue light as it seems, or some of you may thought, but when seen up close, and as analyzed by other UFO researchers in the past, the blue glow...
Hang on, what's the other UFO researchers that's claiming this to be a UFO? Is it Richard Hoagland and Mike Barra? Two other frauds in this side of things.
Suddenly gives way to an obvious, solid, unidentified structure or craft. A UFO.
Yeah, right. Okay, we'll keep on going.
Sense of the word, with an unusual form, not of ours, suspended in the skies and moving through photos as the astronauts walk and do their experiments, and even while in space.
That's amazing what this guy comes up with.
Also seen in photographs, the same blue glowing mystery objects tagging along through space, always in the distance.
Hey, so where's that shape there, Tyler? Where's that triangle shape on that one? Hey.
So whatever these objects were, they seemed to be watching throughout the entirety of the mission. The astronauts likely noticing them eventually, but saying nothing. Yet in most of these moon missions, and afterwards back on Earth, the astronauts really didn't need to say what they saw on the moon. For you could read it in their cold, nervous gaze during the press conference.
They're liars. Look at their body language.
Questions with a look not of happiness and glee, but a look as if they had...
Okay, so there's a possibility that there were aliens on the moon that were monitoring them. We can't disprove that. But we can disprove what he's saying here about the body language and stuff. It's only assumptions here. They might be just fed up with all these NASA briefings and thinking, please get this over and done with, if we want to go home. But the blue one's definitely a Sparks, and they could replicate it on the ground.
I'd seen something up there.
Because if NASA saw the blue lights, they're going to want to know what's causing it themselves, right? So they're going to investigate it. They're going to do it proper investigate. And they're going to say, oh, it's aliens. They're going to say, oh, how can we solve that problem so it doesn't ruin our next photographs?
On our moon, something that concerned them, something that they knew that they could never reveal to the public. And now I want to get to two new findings here on the channel. One of them caught in a photograph during the Apollo 15 mission moonwalk, and another amazing one that was caught down on the moon's surface, taken via satellite. So to start off, here is an iconic photo showing Alan Shepard posing with the American flag. At first, you may see nothing, but looks can be deceiving, and as I zoom in, far beyond and into the distance behind the astronaut, right near the moon's...
You know, Steve, they went. Even China has filmed the landing site from their orbiter. HD photographs. You can look it up online. China would be saying headlines, we went to the same site, photographed it, and there's no lander there. Well, how'd they get the lander on the moon? Come on, man. There's a theory that NASA may have a backup plan and set up a model to be able to switch it over if something went wrong. Like if the space shuttle basically had problem on the moon. They don't want to sort of make it look really bad, saying, oh man, America landed on the moon, but they can't get back off it. They switch over to other stuff, right? So here again, he's just zooming in on a speck, which could be one of these sparks again. It could be just some lunar reflective dust. This dust on the moon is like talcum powder, apparently. It hangs in the air all the time as they move around. So little dust particles can reflect some light back at the camera, and so he's just zooming in on it.
Line, we see yet another oddly shaped blue-colored UFO.
See, oddly shaped UFO should be a red flag straight away. Right?
You saw just...
It's like people that watch the skies and see balloons flying overhead, right? This looks like a balloon on the moon, but really it's just clearly just some specks of dust that's reflecting the light, but has it got any blue tinge on it? So it could even be a spark, right? A little tiny spark as well.
A second ago, albeit this blue UFO does not contain the same bright blue haze of light around it. It definitely is a structure. It has light and shadow to it, and as we change the...
See, he's a good fabricator of lies. And when he starts drawing these little arrows on things, saying, oh, it's more of a craft, he's implanting that image into your heads to try and make you believe what he's seeing.
Perspective here. Some could say that this is an L-shaped object, but to
oh,
me,
no.
it almost looks as if we're seeing a possible V-shape or C-shaped object that is flying at an angle and away.
Now, you remember he did a leaker one where he's talking about L-shaped craft, you know, the fake leakers he did. He's back onto it now, see? Yeah, well, you got to remember a lot of those ones with the dots flying across the moon is filmed within our atmosphere. And what do we have in our atmosphere? We have bats flying around, we have balloons flying around, and we have planes flying around. And we even have plane contrails, which causes the lunar wave effect. As the contrail expands when they're filming the moon, it creates that shimmering, which they call atmospherics. And it's all explained, and people have managed to capture and replicate things. So people don't watch everything. Everybody's into these 5 minutes or 10 minutes episodes, and they just believe what they've been shown, but they don't bother going to do fact check on it. You know, when I heard about the blue UFOs, first thing I started is googling blue UFOs, see what we can find. NASA, are they covering up? And then the truth starts popping out. Oh, right, they used this particular camera, it was experimental, it was creating spark on the lens. Blah, 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 you know.
From the camera, as if we took the letter V or the letter U, made it three-dimensional, and then flipped it as if we were
Very
looking
good, Tyler.
up at it
Good
from the bottom.
pareidolia
And
there.
you can actually start to see that three-dimensional shape when you look at the lighting and the shadow, to where it very well.
So he's already
could
planted
be
the image
more
in
of a
your head now. Now you can see it's a
C-shaped object that
three-dimensional
curves
C,
around.
right?
But nonetheless, very interesting finding in a very iconic
He's very clever.
photograph. And like I
He's
said
not
before,
stupid.
NASA tends to leave these things in, or they simply don't see them, because if you're just looking at this image all the way zoomed out, you would never spot it.
So you
But
can
it's
even see on the surface here, there's like a fine mist of dust. But I think this one is just one of these little tiny sparks that happened, right? They probably didn't see it at the time, else they would have probably touched it up.
It's there,
They normally look for all these artifacts. Not to get rid of UFOs, but just to get rid of the artifacts caused by camera defects and stuff. And scratches and hairs and stuff, before making it into a big poster that they sell. Because people will be complaining, oh, you gave us a poster with a scratch in it. We want a perfect image of the moon.
in the distance, and so I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. The photo is everywhere, and this is actually one of the actual original photo scans. This is not an image glitch. They were using actual camera reels and film footage when they were on the moon. And in more recent versions of a lot of these photographs, anomalies like these you will find to be gone, airbrushed out, painted over black to blend in with the sky. But there are places online, as well as my own system, where I have downloaded.
And the reason they airbrushed it is
original
because they
image
sold the
scans
photographs
that were not tampered with,
to be
or
printed.
not tampered with enough to where these anomalies and UFOs still exist. So tell me what you guys think. What could these mystery blue objects be? In my opinion, the astronauts were definitely being watched. They definitely were not alone. Now, on to the other very interesting...
Well, that doesn't prove it at all.
Perhaps massive discovery found on Google Earth that I wanted you guys to see, and I'll put the coordinates to this down below. You can download Google Earth Pro, go to Google Moon, put in the coordinates, and we were just showing you a photo from Apollo.
Here you can see the stitching even on that image there. See this big stretch here? Obviously filmed by another satellite that particular day on a brighter day, so it's brighter. And you can see how the moon is made up of thousands and thousands of images that are stitched together. And because that's potential of thousands of errors as well, you know. Do you think he does that fakery all on his own, or possibility whole team behind him? Well, his wife's helped him out with a few things, I think. The fake witness, as his channel's name would suggest. Well, he does hire people and he does pay off people. He pays off debunkers. Various debunkers have admitted to receiving money from him, and they stopped debunking him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he paid off reporters to put his stuff in UK rags. But again, it's only my suspicions. I have no half proof of it, but it makes sense. You know, go to a reporter and say, if you publish my story, how would you like $1,000? Depends how corruptible the reporter is. And it's a good thing. It's a good fantasy story. They'll have your readers love it and all that sort of stuff, and you'll make even more money. And I can keep providing you more and more footage like this, and pay you as well. So yeah, how to grow big using external media sources, right? That's all about paying off people. Or they see the story thinking, oh yeah, we can get 100,000 views on that and make so much money of that. We'll use it. He's given us permission to use his video. And of course then Fox News picks it up and all the other ones because it comes from another news source, right? And it just sort of goes crazy after that. You got to remember back when I started in 2016, I think he had like only 53,000 subscribers. Maybe not even that much. I can't remember. And then he got into the UK mags, and it went from 53 pretty much to 100,000 overnight, which he gets the first the play button from Google. What is it? And it was like a little certificate thing. And then the next one's 1 million, isn't it? Where you get the gold button. But I think maybe they'll stop doing that now. Yeah, there's even talk that he bought quite a few subs as well. He got up to 100,000 and it was going really slow, and he wanted urgently to get to that golden play button, and someone bought him, or he paid someone to buy subs for him, because he went from average view and subs joining a day from when I was looking from 100 a day to 500 a day, and I thought that's a big jump for no reason. And that went on for months, and yeah, it kind of suggested that some subs were bought. But as you know, Google doesn't detect them because they're real people, and what they do is these by sub sites, they get regular users to join YouTube normally, and they pay them 10 cents, 50 cents if they go and sub to your channel, right? And that's how it works. And because they come across as a different IP and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I should be, shouldn't I? Golden play button. Yeah. So I'm really an investigative journalist now, I guess. My expertise was in video, computer science. My skills were computer science, coding, and CAD-CAM. I was managing CAD-CAM in New Zealand. And I saw a lot of the good stuff that the guys were doing back then with emanations, and the old computers were struggling to process it, you know, the HD quality they were doing. And it just got better and better as the years went on. So I knew what was possible to fake and make really believable. So I thought maybe I could use my computer skills and knowledge of CAD-CAM to apply it to ufology, because I knew there was a lot of fakes being made. Also, I knew a wee bit about magic and how to do illusions and how to have things fly around the air that you can't see the cables on. I also started doing my own research on cameras and understanding all the artifacts that you get, from rolling shutter to the problems with CMOS technology in cameras, and low voltage and low batteries causing corruption in film and all that sort of stuff. So I did research on that when I first joined YouTube back in 2016, and I started applying what I was learning to video analysis. And after 6 years of doing it daily, pretty much, I was able to be quite good at using all the tools from command line to editors using filters to better bring out stuff in the background. Now these guys use contrast and mostly in Zoom, but they don't use color swap tools. There's various clever color swap tools called curves, where you can where you see all black here will actually be multiple types of shades of black, and you can switch out all those different colors of black that are the same, and you can start to see things that were invisible, and so that's what I do. And I can just pop it out from rip a video down to individual ping images, PNG, and zoom, enhance, and then reassemble it into a video where you can actually see a craft spinning, all that sort of stuff. So I tried to prove that it is a UFO or not a UFO. Is generally what comes out the other end. Or it's a balloon. I use pattern matching. Because I look at a lot of videos and images, I'm able to pattern match it in my head pretty well now, three-dimensionally. It's a skill that you learn as you go, I think. I think everybody can learn it. But let's keep going on with this one. Let's see what it's going to come up with next.
15, and when I discovered this, it amazed me, and you're about to see why as we zoom in here. So the structure, or what I believe to be a structure, discovered on the top of a hill, directly in the center, almost dead center of this hill, I found to be located just a mile or two away from the Apollo 15 landing site.
So I actually tutored students as well in university, technical stuff. So you have to know your stuff to be a person at the front of the class, right? And I actually have 2 degrees, both computer related, technology related. So how many YouTubers out there have qualifications like I've got? I'm pretty unique.
Where the astronauts were walking. And as we go over near the Eridus crater...
And as you know, if you are a university tutor and done university degrees, you know how to do research. And people saying that you can't be an expert on UFO stuff, which is nonsense. You can be a video analysis expert and prove whether something was photoshopped or CGI'd. It's just a matter of just keep learning more and more skills and applying it to the field. And why do people fake stuff? Well, obviously for fame and money, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of people get a lot of laughs at sending fake videos that made reflections in windows to third phase of the moon that just put it up without a care and say, well, we're not experts, but we bring you the stuff as soon as we can. We leave it to you to decide what it is, you know. But we believe it's not a balloon when it turns out to be a balloon or whatever. They use a lot of psychology in the words and presentations they do. They're able to convince people that it's not this, it's not that. So yeah, you know what I mean. It's like subliminal programming and advertising, right? So what's he reckon is on this one? What's interesting though, since I've been in this field, I've had a lot more paranormal and I've actually had alien encounter, which sort of backed up my my worldview that there has to be life out there in the universe, but why would I be contacted? And backed up my viewpoint that maybe not everybody out there was actually lying about alien abductions. And I was in contact with a chief MUFON investigator who was also part of ERT, that did a lot of interviews with contactees, and he used to say, well, I know I'm being monitored, and now you're in contact with me, you'll probably be put on their list, and don't be surprised if something happens to you in the future. Sure enough, 2 years later, something happens to me. Now, I've explained that in a UFO video. If you go and look on the homepage there and find under the best playlists, members' own stories, and then you can find Paul's own experiences. Now, some of the experiences happened before I started the YouTube channel, but since I started the YouTube channel, I can say a lot of other strange stuff has been happening since. And we had a lot of technical problems, and we had screens go black on us on a live show, like we were being hacked at that time. Couldn't find any programs though. Me being a computer expert, you think I'd be on top of all that, but we found out years later that there was actually new backholes, backdoors in Windows, and since we plugged those, that sort of solved that problem. But there's always going to be holes in the system that someone will know about, and generally it's only the government that knows about these extra holes. These holes that were found out by Israel, in fact, were used to attack Iran nuclear program. And then it got out in the wild, obviously, after that point, and people started using it as attack on people's computers. So Microsoft had to bring out a fix to plug the hole after that point. So after that, and then of course Windows 10 come out with all the fixes as well. There's been less problems, but definitely something was going on, being monitored by the government or some higher beings or whatever. I was skeptical about abductions, always was, until you have your own. And that sort of makes it firm in your mind then that maybe they can pop in and out of your house. It doesn't matter if it's locked or not. Anytime they want to. But anyway, enough on that. When you start talking about that stuff, people think you're a nut job after that. But rather than someone that's seriously investigating the topic, but what happens is when you seriously investigate something and things start happening to you, that means you're getting closer to the truth, right? And I believe that Tyler's never had any experiences. Has he even seen a UFO? I don't think so. Third Face claim they were visited as kids. I don't believe. I think it's just a made up story. And Goofon reckons he may have been visited, and the way he acts and makes a mockery of ufology, mocks everybody in ufology. I have my doubts that he's been visited by aliens. I think he believes in them. I think he believes he films them. But he wasn't a really technical person. He's not a really technical person. He can't even get his live streams functional half the time. He's always got problems. He's using too much third-party software like StreamYards, and it always goes wrong. Me, I try to make my own code, and like I've got this control panel where I can do all sorts of things with it. That's what you can do when you're a computer scientist, right? And of course my talking avatar is one that I've made here. I'm not sure if it's in sync at all. My CPU does peak a lot. I need a better system. But I got avatars for Tyler. Mr. Pinky was my first one. And then I got various size versions of this one here. Let's see if it still works. 1, 2, 3. And he blinks and all that.
We're going to Hornby, it won't be long.
Okay. I just got interrupted then. So I'm home alone now. So there you go. Not too bad. And it's using 2 sets of code here. And that last one uses even more CPU. It may not be as good. I've tried to emanate the mouth a wee bit better. Hello, welcome to the Out There channel. So I'd like to see Tyler create something like that. So yeah, that took me about 2 days, And the sculpture was from Robert Farmer. He took some photographs, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. Let's see if we can bring it to life. And that's what I did. I don't believe Tyler believes in UFOs, no. I think it's all a show. But maybe he has changed his mind since. He's done, what, 8 years of it now? He may be showing something that he knows is not a fake and knows it's legit. So he may have changed his mind. He may have been showing something from Corbell. Anyway, better carry on and finish this up.
You may notice it already, but you'll start to see a little white speck on this hill next to
not the speck
crater,
again.
which in my opinion, and in others that have seen this, could
There's
very
cosmic
well be
radiation.
some sort of alien base, or a base that we put there, or some sort of ancient...
Yeah, so that was the gamma radiation specs I was talking about that you can get. But now he's turned it into 4 pixels being an alien base, right? Now let's think common sense here. If you were an alien and you wanted to hide on planet Earth, where would the best place be? Underground. Where would the second best place be? Under the sea. Okay, so let's look at the moon. Where would the best place to be? Would it be in plain sight on a bright white building on top of the moon's surface? Or would you build it inside a crater in a lava tube that goes underneath the ground? You see what I mean? You just have to apply common sense to what you're being told here. And then you got to start questioning: is this an artifact of some sort in the film process?
Ruin, but here we are, and this is indeed at the top of a hill. And the first thing...
Now, again, mentioned I talked about made of thousands and thousands of images as well. So all these might be made up of 1,000 images here, and that might be just one place where they didn't get a photograph. So it's missing data, right? But all these are made of thousands of images, all stitched together.
Thing I want you to notice is, aside from being a giant white square that looks...
Now, he's using topology stuff, so they're sort of using a mathematical algorithm which is not 100% accurate. And it uses exaggerations to make things stand out, like mountains and stuff, which I talked about in previous live shows. On the was it S4? Was it? No, it wasn't S4. It was the mile high spike thing. Now he's going to do it here as well, probably. Let's keep on going.
Totally out of place, and despite the object being at the very top of a hill that overlooks the Apollo 15 landing site, what's most important is that this object has light.
Okay, so you can start to see some of the images stitched together here at pixel level. Looks like these are individual blocks. You start to see stitched together, overlaid. And here it just looks like missing colour information. See, looks like a crater there. So why is the rest of it white? Well, when they transmitted the image back, they got a certain time to transmit it back, so they can get the memory free for taking the next photograph, right? So like on computer, you need to snap the image, save it to hard drive, and then the memory's free for the next image. So you can clear the sensor and then take the next one. So you can see here's a crater, but why is it white? Because it's got the colour information missing. So when it got transmitted back, they only got half the data, right? So, but they still included it because that's the only image they've got on the moon. So it's still included, even if it's half the data.
And shadow to it. Those are the two things that will allow you to know if something is a three-dimensional object. It will always have light, and it will always cast shadow. So I'm giving you a look around the 3D terrain here. This is the actual terrain of the moon.
Which is computer... it's actually fake. Because we haven't actually got street view of it, have we?
Where you can see that this large square building that measured comes out to be about the size of a Walmart, around 400 feet
Okay, where's the
across,
square building?
just as if you
Because it
were
looks
on
pretty
Google
flat
Earth
building to
looking
me, if
down
that's the
at one
case.
of the white roofs of any large square building that sits low to the ground.
Yeah,
like
but he
a
went
Walmart
low
or any
down.
other
It wasn't
one-story building.
solid
That is
upwards,
the size
was
that we're
it?
looking at. And as I'm showing you these enhanced
It's flat
photos
on the
here,
ground.
where I've done nothing except bring up the contrast a little bit and bring down the brightness, because
Yeah, he's mucked
as
around
I've
with
also
it.
said, and as has been admitted before,
And as I told
by
you, these
former
guys, they only muck around with the contrast and brightness and zoom level. They don't muck around with filters. And if you put it through filters, you'll be able to see the terrain underneath, through the whiteness there. Probably a lot better.
image or photograph text that worked for NASA, virtually all photographs of the moon, from satellite imagery to the film footage or photographs taken by the astronauts above the moon.
So it looks like an edge of a crater coming right around. You can see it here. Look how blurry it is, though. You know, because it's taken way out in space and on old technology.
And down on it, they would always be whitewashed, where they would crank down the contrast and up the brightness, virtually washing out almost all of the detail if you're just looking at the images as they are. And you would think that nothing is there, but I've shown that
That's not a building. Look how flat it is, right? It's just missing data, that's all.
that is far from the truth here on the channel, and that in film footage and photographs snapped by astronauts, that once you bring that true contrast back to the photo and see what is actually there on the surface, we begin to see the many mysterious things that are down there that are indeed casting shadows. And so you're seeing this large building here that, because
Okay, so the shadows he's talking about are the images where there's actually completely missing information, and they have these white blobs, and then they have a square shadow up to them. You know, it's just missing data. It's just optical illusion.
because it's a satellite image, we're seeing it from basically right above it, I would say.
Now, I was one that used to believe in all these moon monoliths and buildings once, but now I've done all the research. I can say it's all hogwash. The face of Mars was proven to be hogwash. I thought that was amazing. The pyramid structures can be explained because we do get similar structures in nature where they form right angles like that in rocks. Depending on, you know, the makeup of the rock, basalt, volcanic rock is very brittle and makes sharp edges, which is mostly what the surface of these planets are, and moon and stuff, is collisions and lava and all that sort of stuff that's happening.
Maybe a little bit to the side.
So he's trying to convince you. He's going really hard. He spent ages on that.
An
Let's move
idea
on.
of how long or large this thing is. And so as I'm changing
Okay, he's trying to now convince you it's a big
the
building.
angle here, and you can truly see now just how massive this crater behind this hill is, and the way that it is sitting right at the top. And here's another size reference. This is a 380 plus foot yacht, and I did a Google search for it, and it's the exact measurement that I got from Google Earth of this building.
What's
or
that got to
base.
do with
And
it?
so whatever this building or base is, the size of it fits in regards to the size.
You just bring out the ruler and you can just measure it on the screen.
And not only that, this base could have very well already been there, which is why we chose this exact spot to land for the Apollo 15 moon mission. And I know for a fact that there were secret EVAs that were done on the moon that were not shown to the public, where in which the astronauts took the moon buggy and traveled to certain areas around the
And look, we got missing data.
landing spot that were not shown to the
Missing
public
data,
at the
missing
time,
data.
but
Well,
that
some
have been
missing
mentioned
data.
and discovered in the official transcripts from these missions. And so
I
maybe
think that
the
just
reason
proves
for
the point
Apollo
that it's
15 mission
incomplete.
was for us to attempt to land some
Incomplete. There you go, look. They haven't got information at that level.
Somewhere near this large white structure, and at that time, landing on the moon was not an exact science, and typically they
Google needs to make their own robots and send them up on the moon and actually go around doing street view of everything. That'll be the next thing. I think they were doing a contest with universities trying to get them to build moon robots, and they were going to send them up and see which ones would last longest, and they could collect information that could benefit mankind and all that sort of stuff. I'm not sure if that's still going ahead or not, but that would be a perfect thing, is NASA send up rovers that rover around and just take the photographs and send it back from all the different planets and moons.
would overshoot the area that they would land.
So you spent a lot of time on that
The
one.
lunar soil at the base of this large mountain where this large square structure is, and here I've put some color over the object where above you can actually see the object and you can see the sunlight hitting the top of it, and then the sides of it and the bottom are in shadow, and then you can see the actual shadow being cast by this sort of tube or exhaust or cigar shaped object cast down onto the soil below it. So there's the object and there is the shadow below it. So yeah, it definitely looks strange to me, and as I show you different angles of it here, it
looks like
sticks
shadows
out. And,
and
it doesn't look like other craters.
debris
It looks more
to
like
me.
something that has been placed there at the base of this large hill.
He's trying to really fabricate stuff here, isn't he? Looks like a normal edge of a crater here, and the other one's rest of it's here that's got filled in by the looks of it over time. That's what it looks like to me. And the rest of it's just shadows from the sun angle.
Hill overlooking the Apollo 15 landing site. So that's it, guys. Tell me what you think. With the shadows being cast down on the surface, these arms...
I thought there was another 15 minutes wasted on my time getting over the same garbage.
If you could leave a like and a comment so we can appease the YouTube algorithm so that it will show my videos to more people and it will start to know.
Yeah, I think he must have done psychology degree, you know, how to use words. If you have a look, most of these guys that interact in all do psychology papers. How to use words to influence people. Anyway, I thought that was just garbage, so garbage, the episode. Let's see, let's have a quick read of the comments. Did anyone actually call them out on it? Should do a dislike on that too. Not logged in. Anyway, yeah, not logged in. Put up a Walmart anywhere these days. They put up Walmart. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I feel like you owe me hundreds of dollars for my wasted time, Tyler. You don't have to watch it, bro. But I have to, because I got to debunk the shit. Someone's got to put the truth out there to counteract the disinformation. So I have to keep watching this guy. And NASA knows these objects are, yeah, scratches, immersion pill, sparks. Of course they do. Just got to watch my show and you can get the answers too. Great content. These structures on the moon are everywhere. Yeah? Why has China not brought some pictures back then? Oh, they did. A rock. Rock they thought was a building. They drove closer to it just to verify it though, which is a good thing. And they proved it was a rock on a crater rim. Tyler, if you check some of your off the footage from back then, the astronauts knew it. Knew what? They kept saying things like, we've got company. No joke, it happened more than once. So that could mean that maybe, you know, Russia or another country like that had something up there in space they knew about, they were spying on them. Remember there was a space race? Do you think the Russians didn't have anything in space? I don't think so. I reckon they would have had maybe something in orbit around the moon, also trying to get a rocket to go to land on the moon, but USA beat them. So do you think maybe they're referring to the company being Russia? Got a spy satellite up there? So we just don't know. Maybe there was a UFO watching them, but they didn't get it on camera, and if they did, it certainly would be locked up under the vault and government. Nice reporting. I love these kind of mysteries. Would you, if you just watched my episode today, would you really love it? This is the castle you mentioned, Note. Multiple times. The castle is also found on the astronaut's visor corner. Interesting enough. That's not true. Although they probably had another blob of ink on the visor. It wouldn't be. That's probably what they're talking about there. Because that ink got everywhere and ruined their slides. The tiny blue spots and streaks remind me of defects occasionally saw on film after development when I worked with film decades ago. There you go. Which was probably caused by spark on cameras even on Earth, right? Some of the defects were in the film emulsion, which I again talked about. If it peels, it's blue underneath. Some of the defects were the result of issues during development, like tiny bubbles in development chemistry. So there's even more clues here that can create these defects on NASA footage. This guy here, someone that's actually worked in the industry of filmmaking. You can see he got 106 likes. I'm surprised Tyler kept that comment up. So, what are they saying here? 20 years, commercial photographer, shooting transparency film. I can tell you, yes, there can be artifacts created during processing. There you go, another person backing them up. Very interesting stuff. No, it's not. I had reoccurring dreams. Okay, that's something totally different. Other unknown possible individuals were able to transform into vehicles of light. It's possible, like an energy being of some kind that sort of resonates atoms in our body into light energy. Who knows? It's possible. It was zapped around super fast to a place similar. So yeah, that's outside our normal physics at the moment. It's getting difficult to deny or explain away these things. No, it's not. Just watch my stuff. Thank you, Tyler. It's time for full disclosure. Well, when they looked idiots. Oh yeah, here's the disclosure. It was Sparks. We've talked about it 20 years ago. Did you not read the paper? That hill seems to be all the moon dirt removed from the crater. Again, it's computer generated and is exaggerated as well to make it look higher than it really is. It looks, the blue light UFOs always look to me like the tops of towers with anti-collision lights. Eh? I thought someone was going to say Tesla Spark, but no. I remember a story about how scientific studies concluded on the moon years ago. One experiment involved aiming a laser at the surface to get accurate distance. Could the structure be a reflective surface? See, again, this person's thinking correctly. It could be. It's on the landing sites where they did land various landers there with reflective surfaces. So it could even be a piece of debris there that's reflecting some of the sunlight back up. But it could also be radiation, as I pointed out, and missing data, of course. But again, it looked like missing data because we could see the crater underneath, if you look carefully. You can feel the love. Strange light switching. So, a lot of people said they watch him for entertainment. If you read these comments, it looks like people are looking for answers, not entertainment, right? And he doesn't list his channel as entertainment, does he? He lists it as a news source. And they used to put it at the bottom here, what you had it labelled as, but I don't think they do it anymore. Google keep changing it for some reason. But if you go into his About tab, it normally says there, doesn't it? Or have they removed that as well? Let's have a look. Have they changed it there? So he joined May 2011. He's had like 613 million views. Now, if you times that by 4 ads per video, that's a couple of billion views, right? Every 1,000 views makes $1 ad money. So if you took it there, so you dropped it off 3 zeros. If you said it was just 1 ad per video, he's made $613,000 from ads. But if you got 4 ads, then you got to multiply it. So 4 ads on that makes it $2.4 million. See where it all sort of works out now? And that's how much he's made on ad money. And his cousin confirmed it to me, which I got proof. I don't know why he proved it to me. I think he was in argument with Tyler at the time and thought it was stuff that might expose him. But anyway, it's a funny old field, ufology, on YouTube. Everybody's trying to make money rather than just enjoy doing UFO stuff. I enjoy doing UFO stuff, but I don't really like debunking stuff. But someone has to do it, right? And in debunking stuff, you learn stuff in the process. You learn about the camera artifacts in NASA had that you didn't know about because it's not in any documentary. There's no documentary about NASA's space cameras. Learn about all the flaws. There's no documentary like that out there. You have to do the research. You have to read the papers, the research papers, and the experiments they did. And same with ice particles, how they move and how the solar winds can make them turn at right angles and all that sort of stuff. And the research is out there. You just have to be exposed to it, that's all. So really, I probably should wrap up for the day. I think we've come to the end of my Tyler expose number. Probably getting up there. Must be getting close to at least 80 videos now or more. Out of my 800. You got people like Goofon and Third Face saying, all he does is use our stuff or use Tyler stuff. Which is not true, because I've got equivalent to 3 years non-stop watching on my channel, and I'm pretty sure you could watch their stuff in less time than that. So much money. Yes. But even I need money. If people donate to me, I can use it in proper research. keep the channel going and buy cameras. Like I said, I just pay it out of my own pocket, and I hope that the channel can make enough money back to pay me back. It's basically how it's working at the moment. So I just bought $500 of tripods and a night vision security camera with optical zoom to see how much better that is at filming at night. Until I can afford, Tyler type cameras, the 1,000 plus, which is going to take me years because I only earn $10,000 a year, right? Because I'm on sickness government help, right? So I've got to fund the channel out of what I earn. So yeah, we all need money. If you want people like me to stay in it and research it and find out new things, also to help you verify your own things that you've seen. But yeah, I'm certainly less skeptical about abductions now. So if someone told me an abduction story, sometimes you can now relate it to your own stuff that you had and see if they're BSing you. Some people like attention, so they make up fake stories about seeing aliens. But they're lying because if you had your own experience and you've gone through some of it, then if someone's telling the truth by their emotions when they're telling it. And yeah. Me, I've sort of been attacked by paranormal, which I can't explain. I've had things appear suddenly above my bed and attack me. I'm not sure if it's like maybe Tyler or someone out there that's sort of got a curse on me that's sort of sending this negative entity my way. But yeah, I was sort of swinging my bedclothes at it, trying to get to the door, away from it, because I sensed that it was going to cause me harm. And the dogs come running down. Lucky my sister was staying here, and she had dogs, and they come running down the hallway. And as soon as one of them saw it, it sort of dissolved away into nothing. So it didn't want anything to do with dogs anyway, because I got nice sharp teeth. But this thing was crazy looking. It looked like a 10-pin large bowling pin with no arms. It had like a body. It had like a head and body, but no limbs. So that was crazy. I've also had things jump on my bed, and you can see the footprints. And one night I was sitting upwards and it happened. I tried to grab the camera because I knew as soon as I grabbed the camera to try and film it, it would go away. So yeah, I started talking to it and said, yeah, what do you want? And it took one step forward. You can see it put an imprint in the bed, like it was like a hoof print, like a demon. So I'm just wondering if it's related to my alien contacts since, because I had this dream about how the universes may function, and I wrote it down in my theories. If you watch my theory on the universe about multiverses and portals, so I based it on real science, of course, and what the Navy pilots were seeing as well with the cube and sphere stuff, right? But anyway, I believe maybe some of these paranormal entities come from a multiverse and they shouldn't be in our verse, and the aliens actually like hunting them and bringing them back to their universe. That's the impression I got, that the alien greys were actually, well, maybe not the alien greys, but maybe some of the aliens, more friendly ones. Alien greys seem to be the ones that abduct people and do experiments on. They might be part of the entities that the other ones are trying to keep from hurting us. Saying, people call alien greys demons, right? They do have like these dark eyes, right, which are kind of scary. I just been. That's why I'm in this field, right? Trying to get answers, trying to understand what I've had experiences with. So yeah, I'm not a Mick by any means. I know there's real stuff that's yet to be explained, but multiverses would make us make it real, because that means we've got entities that can pop into our universe at certain points in the Earth, right? Certain doorways can open up certain times of the year, right? And if they don't return back to the universe, they're stuck here. And then maybe the aliens that go around the universe just make sure that these creatures keep in their own universe, and not, they might be caretakers, so to speak. So what's the purpose of aliens coming here and studying us? Well, maybe they're just keeping an eye on things, right? And they don't like us using nuclear weapons, because that opens up the portals, which allows the creatures to come in. So it sort of fits with the Bigfoots as well. You know how they talk about the Bigfoots, where they see the orbs of light, and then they see the Bigfoots disappear. It's like they go into doorways, invisible doorways, which are like portals, right? So maybe Bigfoots have got some sort of handheld device that opens up a portal and allows them to jump back into the universe, which might be just another planet Earth, right? But in another universe. May have the same DNA, may not have the same DNA. We don't know. There's still a lot of answers to figure out. And it makes sense why people see ghosts walk in your vision, right? Because if there's a membrane that's not fully closed off and someone walks in front of you, you see them as an apparition walking through the walls, but they're actually in their own universe, and they might see you as a ghost as well before the doorway closes off, right? So you're saying, oh, you're dead, when they actually might be a creature in another universe, and thinking, what the hell are they talking about? Why are they saying we're dead? So yeah, this is how I look at things now, and some things come in dreams, and I've had it out of body as well as a kid, which may be part of the reason why maybe I'm more open to things. But yeah, I can't explain it, and I've been looking for answers on all this strange stuff for a long time now, and it's more questions than answers as usual. But yeah, right now my health has gone downhill. Whether there's some negative entity that's affected me, and it might be trying to kill me, it's possible. I haven't put that out my thoughts. I know there's dark energy that can make you very sick and can suck your life out of you pretty much and make you really fatigued, right? So yeah, whether you can outrun it, I don't think so. I think it can sort of follow you around. Like, you might be able to move to a friend's house and stay with them and feel better, right? And then after a while you start to feel bad again. It's interesting stuff anyway. So this is where the demon stuff comes into. It could be multiverses. Angels, of course, might be another form of alien that's trying to capture them and take them back. Yeah, so you can actually fight these things off as well, obviously, because I do. Now I try to imagine a force field around me. It's kind of hard to explain it, but you can meditate and make this invisible force field, a bubble that goes around the whole property. It goes underground as well, and you can say nothing's allowed to enter through that without my permission, and that sort of helps, but doesn't last. So yeah, there's a lot more to us than just atoms. There's a lot more going on, and I think one day we might understand it, who knows? But anyway, it's good to discuss this with other people as well, you know, and their experiences are very similar. So we need more people to open up on the experiences. Some people don't tell the experiences all their life. They hold it up. And when they could just tell the story and just take a chance they're going to be laughed at or just ignored, and people would often say, well, they just had a brain illusion that night, and they just write it off and they're still friends and all that sort of stuff, right? So it sometimes helps other people that you tell the story because they have exactly the same scenario that happened. So yeah, go and check out members' stories. There's probably 10 episodes there of members' stories of abduction accounts. You'll love it if you're new to the channel. And also go and check out my own experiences from paranormal to alien visitation. With the latest one being the tall white lady, of course. Which we're not sure about, and it's got me a bit worried because it's when my health is really bad at the moment, so I'm not sure if it's a sign. Maybe the Grim Reaper comes in angels rather than a dark hooded figure with a big bladed knife. But if I disappear, you can say, well, maybe looks like Paul was right after all. Anyway, yeah, that's how we going. 2.5 hours, I think that's enough for today. And I need to go and get something to eat. So I'll say good night. I think we only had one person watching constantly here. And so no one's going to be none the wiser unless they watch my title. But I hope people wise up and start spending the money on people that are actually trying to do the research rather than people that are living off it, right? And it'll be a better world. Anyway, my next episode hopefully might be a Skywatch one, but it looks like it's going to be rain and overcast for the rest of the week, so I might have to do some more episodes of debunking still, just to fill in the time. Just close that down. And we can even bring up Tyler. Let's see if it works. What's up, guys? Since it's his one, we can make him 1 to 3 sizes. So 2 is middle size. Yeah, which channel is 1 on? Laptop. I forgot what mic number. Is it? Let's try 0. I think that's the laptop one. What's up, guys? There you go. Tyler here. I thought I did a pretty good job on that. So yeah. What's up, guys? For many years now, I've been looking at the moon, and I see structures. It looks like the aliens sort of controlling them, but you can see the mics are slightly out of sync, I think. Anyway, at least I can do stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next live show. End. Here we go. Use my little control panel. Makes it nice and easy, like a studio. There we go. I'm trying to do a new intro where a UFO flies around and out pops a kiwi bird, you know, being New Zealander, with laser eyes, and it starts shooting up the frauds like Tyler and Third Phase in the back as they're running away from the UFO. But yeah, I just ain't got the graphic skills to do it really. But I'll keep on trying, and then I'll make some music for it. Yeah, good night, KSP. Maybe you can join us on Discord now. Anyone that's now sees the way I think and the way we research things may want to join on and help us look at new things for future episodes. You can find the Discord link in the ping tab and with the invite code. So if you're already a member on Discord, hit the plus sign and type in that code that's on that page. Anyway, good night.